All right, cool. We're live. We got three on the pod today. I just noticed too. This is so classic. We all have the same exact headphone and microphone.
Oh yeah, we're such a dork.
Man, it works. I don't like having I love my AirPods, but I don't like wearing them all day. For client calls.
Don't they give you cancer for between your ears?
Yeah,
the Bluetooth.
Yeah.
I was literally just going to say that.
Rather not take the chance.
I've been hearing the health effects there, and that seems like a new narrative there in the health space. It's like,
yeah,
the Bluetooth
is it anything
great.
Bluetooth? Anything Bluetooth?
I think it's anything Bluetooth. Yeah,
dude.
I'm screwed then.
I was also thinking about my Garmin watch too, because I know that's Bluetooth. So I'm wondering if my wrist is just getting destroyed.
Yeah.
Dude, I've actually I haven't used my Apple Watch in probably 3 or 4 months because I used to only use it for kind of working out, but it's kind of nice having a free wrist. It's like, all right, cool,
That's classic.
The other thing that, the way my mind works is have my phone in my pocket. It's a little close to important areas. And I'm like, I got to move that around. I don't want to just keep it in the same pocket all day. Got to move it around a little bit. Distribute,
Yep. I never keep mine in my pocket because of that.
Interesting.
Okay. So
I literally never do, unless I'm out and about and going somewhere and I have to. But yeah, I literally consciously make that decision not to.
Nice. Smart.
I don't know what it's going to be like 10, 30 years from now. It's like all these studies are going to come out and be like, oh all right, well, that makes sense. The iPhone killed everybody.
No doubt. No doubt. Or had a massive negative impact.
I've seen videos online and they have to be fake, but I've seen ones where they will put 3 or 4 iPhones kind of on a desk, and they're all kind of facing each other in a way, and they will put like popcorn kernels unpopped in the middle.
What?
And then they will call all the phones at the same time, and the moment the phones start ringing, the kernel will pop. And I'm like, that has to be fake. But
dude, we got to try that. I got to give that a try in the house.
They have 4 or 5 phones, and they just put them all like a star kind of. Not that it has to be in that way, but the point is that they're all together. The antennas are all close, and they're 1 or 2 kernels in the middle. Yeah, we have to try it. We have to do a MythBusters on that one. It's got to be fake. But
oh wait, I found it. Hold on, I'm gonna screen share. Can I do this? Screen share. Oh, I got to open my system settings because I'm using a desktop app. Dang it.
Dang.
Let's see
I
if
was
this
going to do a
works.
little screen share today too.
Let me see if I can do this real quick because we're on the desktop app.
I mean,
open and requit.
That would be something. By the way, that would be something that we would find on the homepage of Dig back in the day. Something like that.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's chat about that real quick.
So yeah, Dig. We were joking around internally where Dig is very near and dear to us old internet marketers. And we are old and dating ourselves knowing that Trevor here, the young buck, not that young even, but doesn't know what Dig is because it wasn't a thing. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so old.
I can honestly say I don't think I've ever heard of it. Kevin Rose, big fan, followed him for a while now. And I saw he posted about it and I was like, I don't know if I've heard about this before.
Dude, what came first? Was it Reddit or Dig at the same time? I think
remember. I think it was Dig first. I mean,
because I saw in the announcement video that he had some beef with Reddit founder. What's it?
Before
Alexis
Reddit, there was Dig.
Hannon,
That's the quick response answer. So Dig was founded in December 2004. And let's see, Reddit was founded in
2004. You said
Dig was, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see what. Okay, 2005. Reddit comes out.
Okay.
So Dig, the premise of Dig was very, very simple. Reddit basically stole his idea. If you really look at it, where people would submit links of websites, so news stories, and then people could upvote them or downvote them or dig them or not
dig them. Yeah.
So it was the dig. And so it was crazy the effect that dig could have on your traffic and your SEO on your website. It was actually a tactic that we used to use where, like I actually wrote a story that got on the homepage of dig, and the amount of traffic that gets sent to your site when that happens. We had it happen a couple of times. Remember the Googlebot image that what's his name? God, I feel horrible not knowing names.
Yeah, our
But
designer.
our designer at the time built like this crazy like Googlebot, like evil Googlebot crawling code, and it made the homepage. Dude, it broke our website actually, the amount of traffic that it would send. Because it was the one place that would curate cool content. I think they did have some categories at the time, but I don't think at start. It was like you go to the homepage, you just see what is going on as far as like the coolest content that was out there on the web. So from an internet marketing like SEO standpoint specifically, people, and this kind of gave birth to the infographic, I'm pretty sure, because the tactic was you build an infographic or you build a really compelling link baity article. Like I did one that got to the homepage. It was like 101 jobs that don't suck. And it was posted on an HR website services. And so we got thousands of traffic, but it wasn't really the traffic we were looking for to convert. Is because when you got on the homepage of Dig, a lot of other websites would pick up the story and then it would get pushed in via backlink. Literally, news outlets were going to Dig to curate some of the more pop culture news that's out there. So it was crazy the amount of traffic Dig could send and the visibility that you can get. And it sounds like it's coming back, which is interesting.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the adoption rate is. Obviously, it's a very different landscape now, and Reddit has grown so much, and it's developed so much. But yeah, it was nice. The simplicity of Dig was nice, and it just kind of died out with a whimper. It just, I think it might have been acquired at some point.
I think Reddit acquired it.
Oh, they did. Okay.
I think
but
so.
It was already kind of on its way out by then. There was also Stumble Upon. Remember that one? Stumble Upon was.
I do remember that one.
Fuck.
I do remember
I don't know if that was more like was that more for the marketing side? I mean, there was all kinds of stuff in Stumble Upon, but
it was kind of like the chat roulette of web browsers. If we're gonna go there, where you basically
chat
say
roulette. Wow.
Wait, hold on a second.
Tyler Jordan. Shout out Tyler Jordan. That's
he was
who
built
the designer who worked with us back in eVisibility, and he created all these graphics. And he had the Googlebot graphic, which was pretty cool. We had it on the wall there, but yeah, he made it.
So to bring a complete circle as far as before you get the chat roulette and Stumble Upon, Dig was divvied up, because we're going to get there. It was divvied up and sold in 2012 with many of its assets and patents acquired by LinkedIn. So that's where that went.
Interesting.
So Stumble Upon, like I said, was chat roulette of the web browsers. You literally would click on something and you would just go to a random website. You could generate a good amount of traffic. We did do that from an SEO perspective, like submitting sites to it to get random traffic. It wasn't all that best for it all. But do you know about chat roulette, Trevor?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Just want to make sure, like that one. You
that
never
was like
know
middle
what
school.
you're gonna get.
That was like a big that was like a big deal when that first came out.
Is it still around? Because man, when we would do it, we'd be. I was like late 20s at that point in time.
Don't look that one up. Don't look it up.
That's fine. Look it up.
No,
dude,
don't do it.
their tagline is random video chat, meet strangers worldwide. It's innocent enough. So we'd have like 20 people in my living room. We're all drinking beers, hanging out.
It's more like see strangers' dicks worldwide.
Yeah, it was like a party thing. Yeah.
Dude, it would be the best thing ever. You're sitting there, all of a sudden you hit, chat roulette. Let's see what pops up. And it's like a dude in Eastern Europe, like in a bathtub naked, and we're all like, "Hey!"
Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, there was no digital marketing benefit to that one, except for just pure entertainment.
No.
So, but yeah, we'll see what happens with Dig coming back. There is like a splash page for it. You can put your email into it. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, they didn't give a whole lot of details, right? It was just kind of like, hey, we're partnering up. Kevin and what is the founder of Reddit's name? Alexis Ohanian or something like that?
Yes.
But it was just a general, like, hey, we're just linking up, but they didn't really give too many product details or anything like that, right?
Correct. I didn't dig into I didn't dig into too much.
Oh, I see what you did there. Yeah, that's all I saw too. That they're rebooting it. I could almost imagine like them kind of meeting up for a beer or something and being like, "Oh shit, remember I still have that. I still have that URL. I still have that website
No
saved
doubt.
somewhere." Dude, let's do something with that. Let's bring it
Dude,
back.
didn't they do a podcast
So
at one
super
point in time?
successful, like a
The
fun
two of them?
project. I don't know.
There
They
was
did
a
a
Reddit
podcast, I
podcast,
swear,
but
at one point in time.
I don't know if there still
They would
is.
go over the top stories on Dig. I swear. Maybe I'm wrong, but there was a podcast anyways. Sorry, going to digress. But there was a spin-off of Dig that was by another internet marketer. Remember Spin, Ricardo?
Yeah, I remember Spin. Yeah.
Trevor, you probably don't know that one. Either, not to keep bashing you on things that you don't know, but you probably know a lot of things I don't know that are way cooler. Spin was the same concept of Dig, but for internet marketing news. I believe it was co-founded by Danny Sullivan, which was like one of the old school internet marketers of the day. He eventually now is like a Google liaison guy. But the idea was like you post an internet marketing story related thing, see if it could get to the top of the page. That's what people were doing blogging all the time.
It was sort of like a dig for internet marketing, right? Yeah. I remember I got a post on Spin to do well with the whole pink buckets.
The no follow pink bucket.
The no follow tags. And I created this graphic with these pink buckets that like it's a pyramid of buckets and the water's flowing from the top to the bottom. And you use no follow tags to decide which bucket it goes to as a way to like, show the visual of using no follow tags. And that's my little claim to fame. That's all I got.
Oh dear.
The pink
my
buckets.
claim to dude. So remember, let's see, my license plate. That got
your license plate got. Yeah, that was a very nerdy license plate.
I don't know if I wish I could share this. Ricardo, you can share, right? Because you're on the browser version.
Yes, I am.
All right, I'm going to let you share this link and get a live reaction of Trevor, how fucking nerdy I was.
Oh, yeah. That's back when Steve was, Let's see. Okay, yeah. SEO Roundtable. It's on the SEO Roundtable.
Yeah, and it actually got on the homepage of Spin, but it's because of my license plate, Trevor.
Yeah, that's when you had the, what was that car? The GT?
Oh, I had like a GTI, Golf GTI, little supercharged little
that's right.
fun thing.
Share, okay.
This should work, but...
Do I have to share my whole screen? Let's see.
I don't know. I think you can share a window.
Oh, yeah, okay. Let me see if I can zoom in.
And then this is when we had the aliases back in the day too, man. So that was my license plate cover, or my license.
There's his license
H1
plate
SEO
right there.
H1.
That's
know
incredible.
Anything about SEO H1 tag being on the page? One of the most important part of the tags that you have. But
the
man,
Spin comments. Was SEO nerd taken already? That's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor. That's such a
that was
handle.
all of our dude. Back in the day, we used to actually have like handles that we would go by. Multiple people in the industry, not our names, because like it was like our thing on Twitter, etc. The community. I remember Ricardo's, but I'm not sure if he wants to disclose it.
Posted by I am not a doctor. That's so good.
That was always mine.
No, I was a SEO survivor, right? That was me, right?
Yep.
SEO survivor.
Yeah. Do you remember the little logo you had of like the raft or the lifesaver ring? It was so nerdy.
Those were early days, man.
But dude, all the guys would do that. Like Rand, Rand had his. Dude, all the guys had them. Like as far as handles and stuff, it's like when the internet was born. It's like having a handle was cool, but not.
Yeah, and now it's like way more official and professional if you think about it. Because I do remember like back in the day with like AIM when that came out and instant messaging, you always had like a stupid handle and name. And then I that did transition. Like I remember early days of Twitter, same kind of deal. Like it wasn't like a thing to be like, hey, put your name in there. It was like whatever your little like nickname was at the time. I wonder like what killed that off, because that like I hadn't thought about that in a while, but like it's not it's not really like a thing. I mean, there are some like big Twitter accounts out there that do have a following now, but like everybody has their own name. It like isn't the thing anymore.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
why that went away. Maybe I don't know, we grew up and we're like, this is kind of stupid.
I
But at the
mean,
same time, I don't know.
I think that was before the whole social media explosion happened in the way that I mean, there was social media. I mean, back then we were Facebook was around.
MySpace.
MySpace was like, just as big probably. There were other platforms, but it I think social media was more pure in the sense that it wasn't about like creating a personal brand. It was
No.
really just about talking to people and like sharing stuff. And
Yeah.
so you almost didn't want people to know who you were in a way, and that's where the handles came from. Where
So true.
now, it's about personal brand and you have to have your name in there and all the
Steve, that makes me think. We were
yeah.
talking about like last week and even the week before about like LinkedIn and just how weird LinkedIn has gotten and how like every single person is an influencer on
Dude.
the platform now. And like
Yeah.
no matter what you've done, you could just have like these templatized posts and it's
Oh my
just
gosh, dude.
so much nonsense on the platform anymore.
And it's I'm guilty of it, of trying to do this for a second, and then I
Oh,
was
we
like, this
all
is
are, no
dumb.
doubt.
I stopped. Like, but you can just read and see like, okay, this is basically a platform of people reposting GPT created posts with all their little emojis. Come on, who's putting emojis on every bullet point?
On
GPT
every
is doing
bullet
that.
point too. That's
You're not
such like
doing
a
that,
give.
okay?
That's such a tell.
Like,
Yeah.
or nobody's talking about this on LinkedIn more. It's like, come on, like, stop.
It's like
This is
such a
not,
templatized hook.
you know.
Like, yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I'm about to probably just not be checking as much anymore. Yeah.
It's like I go back and like I definitely don't check as often as I used to, but I'm like, I go and look and I'm like, is it back? Is it as good as it used to be? And it's not that it was great before, but yeah, man, it goes back to as like advertising for our clients on LinkedIn, knowing like, hey, we're kind of exhausted on it, but hey, we're a little bit different. We're on the internet all the time.
Yes, true. Yeah.
I am curious, like from a client perspective, like channel and other, are I don't know, like are there ideal client profiles, their target audience, just as exhausted as we or are we kind of like just prima donnas because we're looking at it all the time, as a valid channel for our clients, just
No
food for
doubt.
thought there. If like I'm exhausted, I'm not going after internet marketers on there, like I don't know.
I think the sleeper channel is Twitter. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
We've tested it with a couple clients as of late and like it is you get such cheap cost per clicks and cheap CPMs on the platform. Like I think majority of ad spend still goes to Meta. LinkedIn's a pretty big proponent as well. And Twitter's one of those where it's just like a little bit less competitive. And you got to think like, I know so many people that are legit addicted to Twitter. I definitely fall into that category as well of just
Are
like
you
checking threads, seeing what's going on and stuff like that. Now, like they got video content like crazy on the platform. Like I feel like Twitter's a really good avenue outside of LinkedIn and like
have you been driving conversions through it too? Not just
totally. Yeah.
really B2B or actually like e-commerce or what? I mean, what niche have you been
E-commerce
testing?
and e-commerce and B2B, both of those. And it actually
Sounds like a
does a
great
solid
platform
job
then.
of lead gen. Like it
Yeah,
really and
interesting.
purchases and lead gen. But like you got to think the whole like angle to LinkedIn is like, oh, it's B2B, professional network there. Well, like all of those people, if you think about it, use other platforms. It's not like I never understood that. Like I never truly understood of like, hey, we got a B2B professional audience. So like LinkedIn is the best one for us. Like all of those people have Facebook accounts and Twitter accounts. You know what I mean? Like I never understood that angle. And I don't know. I think that would be something to consider about in like media plans, maybe testing Twitter if you're thinking about like that or
I
LinkedIn
think it was the interest targeting is what turned it on to being the B2B platform because you had so much control. But
for
correct me
sure.
if I'm wrong, I'm assuming X and Meta now have maybe, I mean, I guess when you sign up for X, or Meta, you're not necessarily putting your job title in, you know?
The job
Or
title thing is definitely different for sure. Like you still get a little bit of that
yeah.
on Meta, but not nearly as like the same level of detail on LinkedIn. But like I don't know, there's a handful of other ways to go about that targeting. You know.
And I wonder too, we've had this conversation before. Let's say we want to get into Meta, like a B2B advertising, and you're trying to figure out who these individuals are. But here's the disconnect, I think, and even on LinkedIn too. When you sign up for LinkedIn and when you sign up for Meta, let's say Facebook, you don't use your business account, like your business email, right? So you can't like do lookalike audiences or pull in your database from like a B2B perspective. Like you go to Apollo and download a bunch of people that are my perfect profile and you give it to them. It shouldn't match because people don't use their business accounts to log in,
To
and create
any, but that
accounts.
would apply to like any social platform. You know.
Right. So how would you identify on Meta or even X that B2B person, you know?
Emails would be like an option. And to your point, probably not great, but it's an option. You have keyword targeting on Twitter, which is like really
Okay.
interesting of like what they're actively searching. So that's intent right there. And then they do have like industries as well. So you can get down to like industry level. Also have interests there. You also have website targeting as well for like some retargeting options. So like there's a handful of things that you could do to layer in there that could get you to the same kind of targeting and place that you would without relying on like a business email address.
Yeah, because I guess at the end of the day, you're just trying to find the sites that your profile is using and consuming. And if we're not a full fan of LinkedIn, maybe they're not really spending time there, and we should look at other platforms.
No doubt
Yeah,
about
I
it.
think, and I think that I, there's a lot of advertisers too that they're sensitive to the political whatever's happening culturally. We were in a meeting recently with a client that decided to pause their Meta spend unbeknownst to us because of a reason like that. It was just kind of surprising to me. And I think one thing that's happening in X is obviously with the Elon takeover a few years ago, it's on the media all the time, and it's just getting attacked, bombarded. But I was looking it up. There's a couple of newer articles on Business Insider, uh, even the Wall Street Journal, that are showing that there's a long way to go for it to come back to the point that it was with the advertising that it was before that. But there are major brands coming back to X now, like Apple is advertising back on X. Even political ads from both sides are using X. So I think that you know there's a long way to go there, but it's probably going to make a return at some point. And I think that this sort of gap between now and when it becomes more saturated with advertising again is actually an opportunity because there's more inventory, there's less competition,
It's
and
exactly what I'm saying.
yeah,
And I wanted to ask you about I guess the meta thing because I don't think we ever chatted about that, and that was like really interesting to hear that.
yeah,
Um, I was a little like confused by that take as well because
right,
from my understanding, Meta announced an update to how they were going to like do their policy and like remove content and like that whole like I don't know, I guess their policy monitoring process, and now they're essentially like shifting towards Twitter's community notes policy as opposed to
hmm
having a ton of like humans literally looking to see, hey, we should remove this content. So they just shifted how they were analyzing sensitive content on the platform, not like they were totally removing it. So I was a little confused by like, hey, we're getting off of Meta because there's a lot of backlash going on right now. Like I don't know if you guys had a different take or heard
I
other
think
news, but I just thought it was a shift towards community notes.
I think some of the optics is Zuckerberg backing on some of the policies when it comes to like DEI type of items. So actually, not even to do with like platform performance kind of things. It's more like the culture that is possibly being promoted or changed from an optics standpoint. That those decisions can be made from an impact perspective, possibly. Just they weren't, not necessarily sure like what kind of backlash that could have on someone for it
So
all.
more like broader, like vibes, kind of.
Yeah,
Like,
good
hey, they're
vibes. Yep,
shifting. Some
100%.
stuff's different. They're going back on like so. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I was just like a little confused by it because it's not like, hey, we're not doing any content moderation at all anymore. It was just a shift in how they were approaching it.
Yeah, and I think that for some companies, some organizations that do, I think being on a progressive side of the spectrum politically is a big part of their identity as a company culture organization. It's it's something that there's a little bit of a group mentality there. Like there's some big ones like Patagonia, that's they're well known to to support causes on that side of the spectrum and whatnot. That are very firm about like we're out of Meta, they're with Trump or whatever. I mean, I think that this is my personal perception of it, but
Yeah.
I think things like the community notes, the whole fact checking thing, uh, and then there are companies that look up to companies like those. They're like, well, if they're off, then we're going to join this movement, if you will.
I could see that.
Uh, you
Yeah.
know, but
That makes sense.
I think it's all I think it's all gonna come and go. We've already seen companies that they pulled it off on a whim, just on a just in case type of uh, reaction. It wasn't really due to any type of metrics or any uh, kickback from anybody, but they're already coming back. So
Yeah. What
it's
about, okay,
yeah.
sorry to switch gears a little bit, but it's somewhat related. Big pharma advertising and being
Ooh.
not allowed to. Like
Like,
that is being talked about as
oh,
far
I thought
as
you. I
like,
thought there was an announcement or something like that. I was gonna say I didn't hear about that. Well,
Isn't that one of the RFK things to prohibit big pharma from advertising in certain
yes, there's only
areas?
two
Okay.
countries in the world that get to
Right.
advertise big pharma. That's us, the big fat United States, I guess literally, and New Zealand
New
of all
Zealand.
places.
That's
Yeah,
funny. Yeah.
yeah, of all places.
yep.
Dude, that would be a reason why someone kills the guy. I'm just going out there because the amount of money that is
I
spent
mean, there's a lot of
by
money.
big
Yeah.
pharma, and we've had big pharma in the past as clients. They're the best. They have huge budgets, and they don't care what you do with your money. And from a
Dude, if
performance standpoint, it's
So
crazy.
true.
And it's like they're pushing up drugs for stuff. I'm like, man, that would be amazing just from like, even for us as a marketer perspective. I would love it if that's not happened. Not for the whole like social, health, whatever that kind of cultural movement for that is, and big pharma and the backlash against it. For me as a marketer, dude, that's less inventory like that's being taken up and eyeballs. Like we'll have more playground regardless in a space if big pharma's not in there with their giant budgets. And finally, programmatic companies would go bankrupt because they don't do shit, and that's all programmatic does is big pharma. Big pharma does a lot of programmatic, and
Dude, Steve
their
literally
big
hates
bankrolls are like
programmatic
that.
so
That's
much.
the
he
stupidest thing in the
does. Yeah.
world. It's like made up. It's like, ooh, I am doing marketing. Here's your impressions. Like, that's it. It's just not hard work. It's stupid, anyways. But yeah, I love big pharma not to be able to advertise for multiple reasons.
If I was a starving musician, I would open a big pharma jingle agency because they have
Good
to spend
call.
millions on those little songs, those jingles that they have.
It's like the
No
Saturday
doubt.
Night Live skit, or they go over the names of the fake pharma names.
Yeah.
That one is so
Oh
good.
yeah. It's
Like
so good.
they spend millions of dollars developing
Yeah.
a brand to then have like this logo that's super basic, and you're like, dude.
Yeah.
And then in a couple of years,
Yeah.
they're bankrupt and they're out. So
Yeah.
it's probably not good that I'm shit talking so much about big pharma, but
I know, man.
it is what
You
it
gotta get
is.
yourself on the list, bro.
That would be wild if that got put into effect there. That reminds me, I I don't know if you guys saw. I know. I'm pretty sure, Steve, you read Stacked Marketer, like
Yeah.
that marketing newsletter. They put in here um, just like 2025 advertising trends that I thought was kind of interesting, and they said out of home ads hit a new record of 9.1 billion in 2024. I think that was a 4.5 point increase year over year, and they're predicting that that's going to continue to grow into this new year, which is really interesting to hear because you're talking about programmatic and we got all these different social platforms,
What
but
is
out
out
of
of
home
home?
specifically has grown and looks like it's going to continue to grow. I think it kind of makes sense though with all like the streaming platform options and just like another channel to test. And now you could do it through Google Ads, you could do it through Bing Ads. There's a bunch of different providers. Like there's a ton of new inventory there where it makes sense that that's growing. But
What is
but
out
yeah,
of
I could
home?
see that out of home is kind of like programmatic there. Um, Video based, display based, and you could place it through a bunch of different placements, but like think streaming essentially. Roku TVs, like Macs, um
It's
like
not
any
outdoor
streaming services,
advertising?
like so they have that piece to it, but then there's also like billboards and like other like out of home type deals. So like it kind of falls in both buckets there.
Huh.
And they also note here as well that billboards have risen as well. And transit ads led the growth. So
Are they digital billboards or like old school billboards?
it doesn't say.
I think there are
We,
digital too, but yeah, it's all the stuff that you get advertised to when you're out and about. I wonder if this
it's
also includes, like you're saying, Trevor, on the programmatic side. I remember we talked to a company years ago, with that they have the beacons. Remember that, Steve, where they can, like, if you enter a specific, like, let's say, store, you can actually target people in that store, uh, and whatnot, on their mobile as they're like price checking. Uh, you know,
yeah.
uh, but yeah, that's really interesting that, the out of home that's seen, I think, more traditionally as kind of old school advertising, right? You think of the stuff that you see on buses, on those like bus stop benches. I mean, that's all kind of under that category, isn't it?
It's under
The out
that
of home
category. Yep.
advertising.
Well, yeah, if
Yeah.
you think about it, like that got moved away from because you could go online and the attribution was so good. Well, now the attribution online sucks, so let's go back to billboards because we still can't tell either way. So
I
let's
was
do it.
literally just going to say that.
Yeah,
I think
it's an
that's
attribution
probably a
thing.
piece to it, no doubt.
And
Yeah,
I
and
feel like all this
with
stuff
the
has like
QR codes and everything, you can kind of bring them both together, right?
no
A little
doubt.
bit more. There's more synergy there, yeah, between
the
the digital
Dude, talk
world and.
about those beacons though, and like how those work. I'm not sure specifically their technology, but I remember meeting with another company, Ricardo, that um, it's still happening today. It's through apps that people download, not knowing that they have their tracking completely on all the time. It's like in their
Yeah,
privacy policy.
right.
And these guys were making apps for like news websites and news related. It's funny. I was looking at my mother-in-law's phone and I'm like pulling it up. She needs some help with it. I'm like, what are all these apps you have on here? Like, like breaking news apps, this and that. I'm like, dude, they're just tracking your data wherever you go. And that's how it works. And people don't get that. Like, you downloading an app, like, how are people tracking me and no stuff? It's because, sure, the conspiracy, like the phone's always listening, but like there are apps specifically turned on that track where you go. So then they sell your data to advertisers. Like that's how that works. Like it's not the intent of like having a great news app, it's to sell your data. And you tell people
Hmm.
that, they're like, really?
Oh,
And they're like, I still like the app though.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, man.
sorry.
It's hard to be off the grid these days. You have to really make an effort to not be followed, to have true privacy. You have to make an effort.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah,
It like really
Yeah.
has.
yeah.
Two other things to note in this 2025 predictions that I thought were interesting. The second is local ad spend is set to grow about 6.1% in 2025, reaching $171 billion. I know we talk on this show a bunch about like AI and in digital marketing, LLMs taking over, AI overviews, etc. I think if you have like local service-based clients, um, car washes, painters, electricians, anything like local. I feel like if you have some of those clients, like that's probably a pretty good spot to be in. I don't really see like AI. You're not going to go to Gemini or ChatGPT and say, "Give me the top 10 plumbers in my area." If you do, you're like way too into the AI space. A normal person's not going to do that. So I think like local ad spend is pretty safe. On the counter to that, they said display ads. I don't know who. It's Corey Trefaletti. I'm not really sure who he is. He predicts that display ads. So he says the display ads have had their time in the U.S. and that they're pretty much going to die. It's like display ads are not going to be a thing, um, and that websites will evolve into knowledge bases for AI. But he predicted in 2025 and beyond that display ads are going to be totally done, which kind of makes sense if you think about it. Because I also saw that there's a prediction AI overviews and LLMs. I think 25% less traffic across the board to websites next year. So you got to think if there's less traffic to websites, display advertising on sites is like really going to struggle there. So that makes total sense to me, and I think that goes to like your programmatic point there, Steve.
Well, it's the content aggregators, right? Because those are the websites that will be impacted by AI overviews for like informational queries, right? And it's like the Newsweeks,
And they like eat
and that's
off of display ads.
Yeah, that's what's all your display ads are coming off of, is more of those kind of news websites. And sure, AI
Yeah.
overviews will eat into that. I could see that for sure. But going back to the local side of things increasing, I do still, I agree. Like Google, at one point in time, I think we called it like it was the digital yellow pages, right? You'd search for something and it'd be listed there, kind of like a directory for it. And still people use Google to find that. And yeah, I don't think that's going anywhere. People use Google to find local services quite a bit. And it's super competitive. So I can understand why, especially in like a market like San Diego we're in, it's very competitive to buy ads on Google, do SEO on Google for things as simple as like home improvement, because there's 20 or 30 other companies and they are all putting their budget out there. You almost have to have budgets like big national terms
And
to
it
compete
works
locally. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like the advertising, it's super straightforward. It works. The experience for a user is super easy. Hey, plumber near me. You see like maybe like a map results, some numbers, some reviews. Like it just makes sense. It's like a super easy process. So it makes total sense.
Yeah, not surprised by it. Let it grow.
No doubt.
Yeah, and
Um,
I saw that article too, Trevor, that you're referencing, and yeah, how I mean, traditional like local TV, right? Radio. I mean, that's got to be something that kind of goes away with our generation, right? The new generation, they're not watching TV. They're not watching, what we call TV, right? Like your channels and whatnot. They're getting their news from social media channels, TikTok and whatever, other sources. I've been hearing more and more people talk about how they've replaced Google with Perplexity or other AI tools. So there is a shift happening, but I think it's going to take a while, because unless there is a truly like universally, I guess globally available sort of AI agent that can actually talk, get things for you. At the end of the day, you can have AI generated lists of service providers and whatnot, but you're still going to have to call somebody and talk to them. You're still going to have to go somewhere and buy that product, and you're not going to do that through AI. At least not yet. That's what I'm saying. Unless you have access to an AI agent, right?
That existed in 1996. I don't know if you remember. We're going to go back in the day here again. Full circle. It was called Ask Jeeves, man. That was our first AI agent. Now, Trevor, do you know what Ask Jeeves
Ask
is?
Jeeves.
Oh, for sure. Jeeves. No doubt.
Yes. Remember the little butler? Like,
yeah, the little
Butler guy. Yep.
logo. Yeah, that's
that
funny,
moved to
man.
ask.com. That's ask with a K, .com, not two S's. And Yeah, I remember meeting one of the guys that was the marketing director at a conference, and he was repping like Ask Jeeves. I'm like, dude, I think you're
Wow.
screwed. There's a thing called Google that's doing a lot better. But yeah, sorry. I mean, no, I get your point though, Ricardo. As far as like, yeah, AI over like an agent
Yeah,
that would make sense. Yeah.
I think that, in a way, it can be helpful because one of the downsides, I think, of SEO, right, of all the junk that's on the web online is the overabundance of just junk content that people have put out over the years for whatever reason, to get their sites out there. But real, true products, true services, you still got to go to the source to get them, right? So whether it's feeding an AI search engine, there's still going to be a step of pulling up that website, looking up that phone number, filling out a form somewhere. And I don't think we're near replacing that yet. So SEO could change, as more people are adopting searching with a AI platform, but I don't think we're quite there yet. Quite
I
there yet.
personally think it kind of sucks for search. Um, like I'm not even just saying that as like a guy who's been
It
doing
feels
search
very limiting,
ads.
right?
It's yeah, and like the
Yeah,
links suck, and
yeah,
I don't ever use an LLM for like a general search for something where I want to like check out a brand or go to a website
hmm
or learn more. I've
yeah,
honestly, I feel like I just use it as like a collaborator of like, hey, I'm working on
hmm
this paid media plan. I need some ideas.
yeah,
I'm thinking about this. Like, what are your thoughts? What's your
hmm
feedback? What keyword should I consider? What ad copy and hook should I consider? I would have never used Google for that in the past. Like
right,
I would have never used Google as a collaborator. But when it comes time to like actually find like resources and when I know I'm going to have to submit a form on a site or contact somebody for something, I'm not going to like Perplexity for that or ChatGPT for that. I feel like it's just not a good overall search experience.
yeah,
Um,
Yeah, I think Google like kind of the search results are crap most of the time, and it's not the crap that's there. It's like the affiliates or the aggregators that are crap, right? Like the top best e-bikes
right.
that are out there, right?
That's what I
Why
was
are
saying. Yeah,
right? Why are they doing that? Forbes, like they notoriously got slapped by Google for this, but they made content for everything of like best this, best that, and they got a bunch of
yeah,
traffic for the display network for your shitty programmatic traffic. But I digress. That the search results are crap because of people trying to game the system to get revenue somehow into it. That is not actually a true service or a product that they're trying to do. I think if Google actually removed those types of sites and let true brands and services and products battle it out and not have these review aggregators or affiliate websites, it would be a way better space and
yeah,
people would enjoy it more because I don't think people are using Google to find the best e-bike software out there. They might actually use an LLM to look through that, but then when they're looking for brands themselves, they would come to Google, for that. So I I just think the search results are crap because of that reason. Like literally people just trying to make money on an arbitrage of search and it's from
yeah.
affiliates.
yeah, I think that's fair.
And I don't know, I guess this is a little bit hypothetical here, but a lot of the value that you do get from what we go to, tools like GPT for is that, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this? Give me your assessment of my audit or whatever. Help me flesh this out. And, it's pulling from the search engines, right? It's pulling from forums and, decades of people talking about this stuff online and blog posts and stuff, like real human beings discussing things and working them out. And it's pulling from all of that knowledge base, which is going to come to a screeching halt as people stop doing that because they're just asking AI now to do it. So uh,
What's
there's
going to happen?
value in, the thing is like we need it now, right? We want this information right now, and we want it to take 15 minutes rather than 4 hours to do it. So we ask it. It gives us some like really awesome stuff. We use it, we flesh it out, we make it ours, and we use it. But what about all those conversations that are serving as the source for all of this? You know, that's got to be, forums have got to be seen like a crazy decline of going back and forth, where things like this used to take days or weeks to get worked out between, people who know what they're talking about a subject, where now you're just going to AI and asking it what it thinks. So that'll be an interesting kind of fallout, I guess, of these searches.
Yeah, and a lot of the content you're talking about too, that's
the
being
base
published,
source is what it is.
Yeah, the base source was really good maybe like 5 years ago, and then that's going to run out, and now it's being replaced by a bunch of AI content, right? So it's like the snake eating its own tail. So it's like, how is that going to get any better? So they do need to have diversity of where they collect their information and train. That's what I'm curious of, like, where are they going to pull that from? I know obviously Reddit is a big conversation where like that's active and could be a great resource. Books can be a great resource for that. But like real time stuff like internet marketing, like you imagine like how many people are actually writing like genuine blog posts about certain SEO tactics or how do I approach this strategy? Not a lot. Maybe that's where people go to then LinkedIn. Maybe the LMs go to LinkedIn and because people are posting crap there. But that's all AI generated a lot too. It's like, I don't know, man, where it's going to go.
The critical analytical human thinking that took to write that is going away slowly.
Oh, 100%. Where is it?
Because there's no, why would you spend, half of your day writing a post when you can just drop some ideas on GPT, have it write it for you, and then you just kind of proofread it.
Is that the singularity of what people talk about, where it's like we get to a point where it's like, doesn't matter anymore. It's all.
I hope not.
It's all known.
But maybe.
You hope not. I have no idea how they put this together, but I think Harvard released something. I don't know if it's this year or they predict next year, but like 30% of critical thinking I forget how they framed it, but essentially like there's way less critical thinking going on in the world. Specifically stemming from AI and people just full reliance on LLMs to like think for them. And you got to think, you get all this TikTok stuff and, all these social apps, everybody's just addicted to like quick hits of dopamine on social media and just social, keep scrolling. And then like any task that you do, it's like, hey, LLM, do this for me real quick. And then back to social and then LLM, do this for me. Like you could see how critical thinking atrophies over time pretty quickly there, especially with like a younger generation who comes up and that's all they know is like quick hits on social media and LLMs, where they don't even have a foundation of work before LLMs. It's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Positive, but also pretty scary at the same time.
Maybe there'll be human interactions, man. Like going out to the bar and hanging out and like talking to people. Let's see what happens. Like they're not going to be able to.
Yeah. My hope is that it self-corrects. It's kind of like, looking back and you see those movies from the 60s, and the doctors are like smoking a cigarette talking about the patient. Obviously, like that actually happened until they figured out that wasn't so good and they changed things. And I feel like, hopefully we'll have a similar trajectory here where we're like, okay, this isn't helping us. Let's self-correct, because AI can be something very helpful, if used in a good way, for sure. I'm not like a doomsday person about it, but at the same time, like Elon Musk just said that on the recent Joe Rogan podcast he was on, like it could either be really good or it could be really bad. I don't think there's a middle here.
Yeah.
I agree with that for sure. Well, that's probably a good spot.
Hopefully
I was going to say, it's probably a good spot to call it there. I feel like we covered plenty of ground on this one.
Yeah, I know. No agenda. We just jump into it. And
that's fun.
Yeah. We do it live.
We'll do it live. Yeah, that was fun, guys. Thanks for inviting me to come over and just kind of shoot the shit with you.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
It's nice way to spend a Friday.
Well, it's a good way. Yeah. Another episode of the books here, season 3. We got to talk about upgrading the thumbnail game at some point here. So maybe this episode that we post, we'll have a fresh look for the thumbnails.
Can AI just do it?
That's also true. All right, we'll call it
I'm done talking.
All right, guys. Have a good